Good morning. Welcome to Walking Slowly Downhill, a series of stories I wrote as I walked down the River Murray in 2015 from source to mouth. Each afternoon I would write whatever it was that emerged from the morning's experience of walking. This is the 60th day, purnong towards mannum. Remembrance Day. Does it infer a celebration of memory, or simply of the memory of those who lost their lives in endless wars? Perhaps the memory of the latter, and then remembering all the young, because overwhelmingly most were very young, turns into a celebration. Consequently, by inference, into a celebration of war. And that seems to be the only way we have to resolve conflicts of interest, of belief, of aesthetics even. But isn't war simply the treatment of the symptom, not of the cause? And as such, doesn't the cause, so untreated, always flare up as a series of symptoms, time and time again? I catch myself reasoning like this in what I realize as I look up at the sky, exceedingly simplistic terms, almost embarrassingly simplistic, even though there is no one around to reason such terms away for me. But I don't aspire any further right now. I'm content to let my mind contemplate the building blocks without the need to reach upwards. Except to remember my father's eyes dulled with sadness each Anzac Day, on realizing that he would once more not be able to participate in the acknowledgement of the supreme sacrifice with any of his compatriots. And the hurt deepened by the unavoidable taint of loser, in his mind at least, with the celebration all around him of those that returned safely from the African front or from the invasion of Italy. On each Anzac Day he would hide inside and not talk much. Then in the evening he would revert to being a child, irritable, over noisy and petulant. He never realized I understood some of his inexpressible grief, and that in my own small way I shared his pain. I might be a child too, I now conclude, as I turn another bend. There is plenty of evidence to sustain that theory. I might have been a child all my life, and perhaps all along I've pretended, like him, to be capable of reasoning in a more complex way. As I cross the endless wheat fields above Mannum, located down in the river valley another 40 kilometres or so ahead of me, I catch myself sighing with relief to finally accept, or attempt to accept, being the child I am, or have been. See, there goes my mind again. Leave it, Domenico. Don't allow time to become a factor, that grown-up reasoning. Drop it, okay? So as the child, my task is to be here, now. And in an instant, a field of poppies appears. There's a thick cluster of them on a hill above the road, resplendently carmine inside the patch of Naples yellow stubble that's just been harvested. As I admire them without altering my rhythm, the whirring and clicking of remembrance results in an instinctive, if faltering, intoning of Lo sai che I papaveri. This is a popular song of the 1950s, which I often heard during my last summer in Trieste, pouring through 100 open windows from cheerfully crackling radios. Occasionally accompanied by the enthusiastic support of those inside, by children's laughter, by adults arguing insistently, by the clanking of plates, pots and pans, glasses. Can I remember how it goes? Yes, I think I can. Lo sai che I papaveri sono alti, 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 e tu sei piccolino, e tu sei piccolino, che cosa ci puoi far? You know that poppies are so very tall and yet you are so very tiny, but what can you do? That's it. I sing it endlessly, moving way beyond the poppy field, now sloping downhill towards Mannum, my voice resounding as if pouring through an open window. Thinking all the while, indeed, but what can you do? What can you do except be the child you are? '61st day. Downhill, yes, but then uphill again, up and over into another plateau, wheat moving in unison with the southerly dancing all through the endless fields. Stone houses and olive groves, bends in the road, small rocky outcrops, vegetable gardens, cactus rockeries and palm trees, even leafy figs. Greece. That's where my carefully cultivated child mind goes to this morning, to the island of Samos, just 2 kilometres off the Turkish coast, the most northerly of the Dodecanese Islands, and especially to its eucalypt-rich hills just outside the village of Pythagoreon, the birthplace of the genius mathematician and home to an archaeological site containing the part-excavated remains of Anthony and Cleopatra's palace, the fated couple's last hiding place before they embraced their melancholy fall. The eucalypts in Greece are all imported from Australia and grow to a medium size, just like the eucalypts along the Hunter Road. Their backdrop is mainly a deep blue Aegean, and somehow the gumleaf green and the ultramarine intone the sweetest sound together each morning in order to begin the walk across the Murray using the ferry system, a flat punt guided by cables strung across the river and driven by a diesel engine. The river is particularly blue here, unlike further upstream where various tones of green reflect coppery textures. Today the operator speaks to me, waving me onto a particular side of the ferry. I thank him and he answers me in an English I recognize. Domenico? I inquire. Yes, and you? No, I answer, Italos. Ah, Italos, he responds, grinning widely. Cappuccino cioccolata, huh? I smile. What part, I ask. I hear the answer before he says it, but he doesn't answer. Oh, you wouldn't know it, he says, a small island. Samo, I ask. He nearly drops the cable, his handling through thick gloves. Yasure, how did you know? I begin to talk about Pythagorean, but he interrupts me abruptly. Pythagorean is my home, he says. My home. My home, he repeats. By the third, he's almost yelling it. I smile again. I know what prompts the heat in him. I know how easily the flames are fanned. I have collected both kindling and logs myself many times. But now we're on the other side and there's too much to say it. We look at each other in the eyes. Then we shake hands and move on, each on our way. Remembrance Day indeed, but you can't fence in the memories and restrict them to one subject. Memories flood you whether you like it or not.